Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Experience podcast, inside the business, buzz, and brilliance of Black entrepreneurs. Here is your host, Dr. Frances Richards.
What happens in Vegas goes all over the world on Black Entrepreneur Experience, episode number 46. Thank you for joining us for Black Entrepreneur Experience. This is where we shine the light on the most successful Black entrepreneurs in the world. I'm your host, Dr. Frances Richards, and I am so honored to have with us today Brian Fontenot. He is the founder, CEO, and director of BLF Foundation. They provide minority college students with mentorship and scholarship opportunities in an effort to help advance our future leaders. Welcome, Brian.
Hi, I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast.
You know what? I've given our audience a snippet of your bio. Why don't you fill in the gaps and share with our audience what you'd like us to know about yourself and your company?
Awesome. So I live in Austin, Texas. I've been in Austin for about the last 10 years and really watched the terrain and area of Austin really grow. I've had the experience and blessing to be able to be a graduate of the University of Texas and grow also professionally while being in Austin. And one of the most important things to me was the importance of giving back and protecting and promoting the next generation. I always feel like if we don't extend a hand, if each one doesn't reach one, then we'll end up seeing 20, 30 years from now, a generation that gets lost because we're not able to learn from our mistakes and failures, but most probably not able to celebrate and promote the successes. So I really focused on trying to build a foundation that really helps cultivate a missing gap of skills that employers are finding in millennials that is really hurting also career opportunities for students because they're not getting this reinforced education through whatever schools or connections that they may have. And also they're needing the mentorship and guidance because they have questions about pivotal points in life and decisions they need to make. And by bringing team collaboration, being able to give different viewpoints and ideas around things, they're able to grow. And not only that, they're growing exponentially. That was the whole vision and reason why we put together the BLF Foundation, really helping to provide the holistic education so that students would be able to conquer anything that stands in their way. We want to make sure that, one, they don't drop out of school. So we would make sure to focus on the skills and traits that would help them to be successful while in college. But then once they graduate, we want to make sure that they have a job, they have a career, that they become entrepreneurs. Whatever that they have their sights set on, they can become. And so for that, that's in essence what makes up the BLF Foundation's mission and vision.
So tell our audience if they wanted to connect with you, and I know this is kind of a question I'm also going to ask later on, asking you to give them information, but talk about more specifically an ideal client for you, someone that is interested in utilizing the foundation. Is it just for individuals that are in Texas? Is this a virtual mentorship? And tell me the ideal age of your clients.
Sure. So for the program that we have currently, it's focused specifically with University of Texas at Austin students, Houston-Tillotson University, or Austin Community College District students. The mentorship program runs calendar year from January to December. The scholarship program is awarded every January with applications opening up now in August, and they'll run until December 1st. And this program is specifically focused in Austin, Texas area.
Okay, and it's primarily for college students only.
That is correct. Anyone from a first semester freshman student all the way to a senior in college. And it can also include graduating seniors.
So was there something that happened in your life, Brian, that gave you this aha moment to start this foundation?
Really, ever since graduation and finding myself in the corporate world, but most importantly, just finding myself in society and life, I thought about all the people that played a big and pivotal part into my life. I had a lot of support, a lot of people that were able to help open up doors and opportunities for me, but most importantly, give me education and guidance, give me wisdom, give me counsel, allow for me to be able to ask questions that I may have. And because of all of those things, I was able to find success. But it was most importantly having the right people in my corner and the right mentors and the right guidance to help prepare me professionally and emotionally and personally. Now, when you go to school, a lot of times they say that one of the things about school, the best things you can get out of is actually completing school, because the test is people consider that the actual education and things that you get inside school is important, but it's also learning things like time management, or learning priority setting or learning all those types of things. And so for all those reasons, the program is really important. And I felt that it was important to create because not all students get that type of guidance. Not every student has a mentor. I have many friends that graduated college and never had a professional mentor in college, where I did. I had many mentors. I had many people who played pivotal roles in my life. And I realized how much that was the difference in my success and trajectory as comparison to some other people. And I said, wow, how can we give back? Because what I found myself doing more than anything is I was over there helping friends that recently graduated out of school, and I was helping them be able to prepare for opportunities and things and sharing things that I learned. And I said, wow, I'm doing all this to invest in other people. What if I was able to create a program that I could do this on a grandiose scale? Because I would spend time doing career prep. I would spend time teaching things like emotional intelligence, other types of trainings and such like that. But I was always doing it on a one-off basis. I really needed a platform and a way to build a program in which we could address the bigger need, because there were so many students that I wasn't able to touch, so many students I wasn't able to really get to.
So how much of your education at the university played a role in reference to you starting this foundation?
Definitely, my education helped. I was aware of opportunities, but it was the people that I met during my time in education. So it was the professors that mentored me, the people, the professionals that I met during my tenure at school, just different relationships and network that I developed. That really helped open the doors and opportunities for a lot of things for my life. And so from that, I was forever thankful. But most importantly, I wanted to take all the lessons and teachings that they gave me, but pass it on to somebody else, because the information they gave me was so great. I needed to share it, not hold it in and save it fully for myself.
And, you know, Brian, I want to agree with you 100%, because that's one of the things that when you talked about one of the lessons of college is completing. And that's one of the things that I realized over the years, you know, getting several degrees. And, you know, a do-over for me would be that I didn't understand the component of mentoring, the component of an advisor, someone who is going to really help you with your career. And so just the key of having a real mentor. So talk to our audience, because your program is specific to Austin, Texas. Talk to individuals in our audience, if in fact that they have children that's in school or they're in school. Tell them what tips or strategies should they look for in a mentor, how to find a mentor, the value of a mentor, anything that you can add that would drive that point, the value and the benefit of a mentor.
Man, I'd say it like this. When it comes to mentorship, just getting different viewpoints helps. I was luckily been blessed to have great parents that could give me guidance, but they also encouraged me to seek outside information and knowledge from other people that I valued and they valued. And even at any age, we're all going to need guidance. I always think about it as it says in the Bible, you train up a child in the way that they should be taught so that they don't divert from the path. And because I had so many mentors and so much guidance, it helped me to really understand and grow in different ways, because I had so many people I could turn to and ask questions. And a lot of times I think what happens is we don't ask the questions that we need to. And I love to travel. I think travel was also part of my education personally and professionally. And every country I go to, I learn different things. I learn different things about myself. I grow personally, but I also understand things about business, life, and other things in general. And one of the things I enjoyed from a solo trip that I took this year to going to Santiago, Chile, was that I realized how much if you don't ask, you will never know. Going to another country by yourself, spoke very little Spanish, and had to really kind of navigate the country. It really challenged my ability to ask questions and to question ideals and things. Now, from a young child's perspective, they're going through life, they're running to whatever kind of things are their roadblocks. It may be they have their first crush, and their first crush breaks their heart. What do they do with a heartbreak? It may be that they want to apply and volunteer for a program for a school, or they want to be part of a key club, like at a high school level. And it's like, well, what path do they go to really kind of exemplify themselves as leaders? It may be in colleges that they're looking for internships. And it's like, how do I go to market myself as the best student that they should pick? There are all kinds of questions that we have in life. And when we have the right mentors and guidance, it can help us and save us from making mistakes and having regret later on in life. But most importantly, it can really help and advance our path in different ways, so that if we have guidance, we know what things to look for, what things to prevent, what things can be triggers, what things can be help, what things can be hindrance, but it can really advance our success. So from a child's age, at any point in life, I think even as an adult, mentorship should be a component of life that you should always have.
So tell us, Brian, what is a daily or weekly habit that you do consistently that has given you the greatest success?
Definitely, I can sometimes be so focused in on doing work, but one of the things I try to do is have a conversation with somebody to really kind of expand my mind. I think that through conversations, you really gain a perspective, you learn, you get knowledge, but most importantly, it don't allow you to be closed-minded in your thinking. You really are able to, at that point, really kind of challenge ideals. So I like to listen to things that people say and then try to digest it and analyze how does it apply, what parts apply, and such like that. But if I don't spend time in those conversations, I will always be locked into my own way of thinking. So I challenge everybody, friends as well, to take the time to just have a conversation with somebody different, somebody that you haven't known. Talk about things that you're thinking of. And then another thing is I try at least once a week, have a check-in with friends and mentors or every other week so that I can, speak on things that I have in my mind. I keep a journal with my thoughts. And so I use Evernote for a lot of note taking. And if I just have things that are going in my mind that I can't really digest, I just write them down. It helps me to more clarify my thoughts, but then also know things I want to ask for other people.
So when you talked about Evernote, is that a technology tool or a platform that's a must-have for you in managing your business? And is there any other technology tool or platform that you want to recommend to our audience?
Definitely recommend Evernote. I use it for note taking. I love note taking, being able to jot down ideas. I have a lot of thoughts that come to my mind every once in a while. And so what I try to do is write down is what I'm thinking as soon as I am getting like a vision or idea, and then later on go back and analyze the pieces and understand how it applies. Because especially in a day, so many things cross your mind, so many things happen. And especially when you have a good idea, you need something to note take really quickly. Just being able to share, or really write down really quickly, hey, these are the things that are really important. These are the things that I was thinking. This is my vision I was believing, etc.
So who would you say are the top 2 influencers in your life, and what lessons did they teach you?
Definitely my parents. So they taught me a lot, especially my mom. My mom, always exemplified a strong woman with confidence and being able to humble herself in different moments to grow when she didn't have the answers to certain things, but was never afraid to ask, but also really worked in people. But also, most importantly, she gave back. She was the director of personnel for many years, about 38 years in education, and constantly sought out opportunities to help improve the trajectory of young teachers. And it was very important to her that she would give back. She was also in a position of hiring. And so she would spend, her time working and doing the best she could do, but also spent her free time giving back and instilling values of confidence and other things into the youth and next generation and really pouring into other people. And for those reasons, I kind of think that's where I adopted a lot of things that I do now, because they were definitely great role models to show me things. And my father, in working on always talking about continuous development, helped me to think critically in situations, helped me to analyze thoughts and then say, okay, here's a couple of things that you should think about, but you ultimately have to make your decision. And most importantly, one of the things the greatest things my parents did was give me responsibility at a young age. And I think by giving me responsibility, it allowed me to really kind of focus in and give me opportunities to make mistakes. I think so many times kids don't get the opportunity to feel like they can make mistakes. They feel like it comes with some type of, I don't think the best way to say it, but some type of consequence. But the thing is, in life, we can't be afraid to make mistakes. We should, in fact, use mistakes as an opportunity for growth. And there's not one person that I think can think that succeeded that's never had the opportunity to make a mistake and have to learn from it. Now, mistakes can only be a mistake if we allow them to not learn from them and allow it to be also our final chapter. I always say that every day is like a new chapter in a book. You get to write it. So definitely the role models that my parents set and the values that they were able to instill, from them just being examples to the different things that they did in my life, really kind of helped and inspired me.
So, Brian, when you talk about mistakes, tell me, what is that worst moment in business and what was that takeaway?
Let's see. I mean, there's different things that I can think of. We've been running our program over the last year, and I wouldn't really say there's mistakes, but there are things I say, aha, here's something that I would tweak. And so in business, a lot of times a company can make a mistake, and that can be the difference between the company staying in business and the company being out of business. But I also look at it as that a lot of the companies that learn how to fail and fail fast, they are able to really grow, expand, and really dominate the type of industry that they're in. It's okay to make a blunder and make a thing. For me specifically, it's definitely maybe some ways that I may have structured the mentorship program, or maybe things of the way I've marketed and gotten certain responses back, or it may be the ways that I've articulated messages. But I've definitely been able to learn and grow from whatever I found that I did in business that I would say, okay, here are the things I would do differently. But I think the key thing in business that you have to do is you have to always be analytical. You have to analyze what you're doing, the results you're getting into, and the goal that you originally set. And you have to iterate. So you have to say, all right, I did this action, I had this goal, but I got this result. So let me tweak this one thing, let me test and try. Or as they say in design thinking, you're prototyping. So you're prototyping to see if that gives you the intended result until you finally get to the intended result. And as I always say in business, once you meet one goal, you have to move to the next. So I guess for me thinking of mistakes, really just not really mistakes, but just different things that you would find that you would do differently, or different things that didn't give you an intended outcome that you're looking for.
So what is one valuable lesson you wish you knew before starting your business?
One valuable lesson would probably definitely be just leveraging relationships and people that you have, because when you're doing something that's a great work, people want to help, but you have to know exactly how to put them in the best position to help. So I think a lot of times we can give people opportunity to do certain things, but are you putting somebody where they have their best strength? That's always the question, because people want to help, but you want to make sure you can put them in a position of success. And I always understood that you work with people and leverage other people to help find a mutual goal and success. But it really became more critical to understand, how do I put somebody in the best position to succeed? Because you don't want to elevate somebody to a position where it's not in their best skill set, or it might be an area that they're not the strongest in. So it's definitely identifying, when you're building a team, looking at what are people's strengths, what are people's areas of weaknesses, and how can you best utilize their strengths and maximize on those.
So, Brian, if someone wrote a book about you today, what's one thing that we would learn about you that we don't know?
I'm actually a very shy only child. Most people don't know that because I come across very social. I love social interaction, but I'm actually a very shy individual. And it was something that it took growth out of me to be able to overcome. But now people, when I tell them that, they laugh. They're like, there's no way that you could be, there's no way that you could be shy. I'm like, I actually am very shy. You just don't know it.
Thanks.
But then I love people, so.
Thanks for sharing that. So talk to a younger Brian. What advice would you give to a younger you?
Definitely to fail fast. And it's okay. You know, sometimes we often look at perfection. I know sometimes I can be so focused on making sure I get to a certain end result. But the good thing is that you don't have to be perfect. Nobody in this life is perfect. And it's okay to iterate fast and make mistakes. And I think the faster that you make mistakes helps you to really learn. So the good thing is keeping an eyes wide open approach and saying, all right, hey, this didn't work how I wanted it out. So what do I need to do differently? And then you keep trying and trying and trying again. But I think, you know, especially at a younger age, I definitely was more cognizant of trying to do things as perfectly as possible. And sometimes it's okay to get to a good goal and then come back and change it. And I've noticed a difference in how I approach things now. It's like, all right, I'm not going to get so focused on the perfect image or the perfect position or perfect this. I'm going to focus on getting to as best as I can to that. And then I'm going to come back and do maybe a few tweaks. And it's okay. So I like to move fast.
And I know the book, I know that the Failing Fast, I believe that there's a book out about that. And so I'm going to ask you, what book would you recommend to our audience and why?
One book I would recommend, especially is key to my life, is the book is called The One Thing. I'm trying to grab the name real quick. It's called The One Thing by Rary W. Keller. And the reason why I like that book is because it talks to you about focusing on one thing. And we can so often try to think, hey, I'm going to multitask, I'm going to do this, that, and the other. But in order for me to maximize my day, I really have to be focused on what's the one thing that I want to accomplish. And I balance a lot of things through the business. And what I try to do most importantly is maximize the day to be as efficient as possible. But reading that book and adopting those principles really kind of helped me to focus on not trying to do 20 things in one day, but what is that one thing that I need to get done the most? And most importantly, I start my day early so I can get those things done early in the morning. So that also helps me to expend my energy on the hardest task early, and then it helps my day to become easier as it goes on.
And how do you define early? What's early to you?
I wake up about 7 o'clock every day. I get things done between 7 and 9 so that I don't have to. So I start my day kind of like 9 or 10 o'clock-ish, and it runs all the way to maybe about 6 p.m. And hopefully I can have a nice, relaxing evening after that.
So if you were doing, if you had to do it all over again, would you do the foundation and would you do it exactly the way you did it? Or is there things that you would do differently?
There are a few things I would tweak, but for the most part, I would do everything exactly how I've done it. There were a few things I've learned, like I said, learning opportunities in the last year that I said, okay, you know what, I'll tweak this. I mean, I've already looked at next year, so looking at tweaking things that I did. So it's definitely something I would do again and do pretty much the same way, minus a few things I would change differently from just learnings. But the best thing is I started, and you just have to start from somewhere. And that's the key thing.
So let's talk about success. How would you personally, Brian, define success?
I define success specifically in my program with the students I'm able to touch and being able to watch their trajectory and growth. They took assessments at the beginning of the program, assessing their knowledge in certain areas. But from the text messages, the emails, the tweets, the things that they shared in person, they have seen so much growth out of this program that was the definition of success to me. Just their reflections and the way that they're applying the information that's being taught and how much it's meant to them, how much it's been an impact, how much it's been a blessing to their lives. And then even seeing the opportunities. Two of the students this last year graduated. We had other students that are going into a new year of school. We have students that have gotten awards and opportunities based upon using the knowledge that they gained in the program in other ways in their life. And for them, it's been really beneficial and such like that for them. So, and then at the end of the year, as I do assessments for them on different learnings and activities, they really can show the growth. But it's most importantly the conversations I have and watching their change and their growth that's really said to me, wow, this program has been a success, and this is exactly what we want to intend. Also, the other piece is the in-kind value we've been able to get back. Over last year, between scholarship, mentorship program, and voluntary hours, we've been able to give over $30,000 of in-kind support to students, which has been really amazing. But the most thing that I consider success is being able to give back, but also watching their growth and trajectory.
And so how long has the foundation been in existence?
It's been in existence for the last year. We just made a year in July.
Well, congratulations on that. And tell us, what is the biggest achievement so far in terms of, share with us one of the stories that has really impacted your life from the students.
Yep. We have one student in the program who is one of 14 children and one of the first few to go to college, but probably the first one to successfully complete college. And so watching her growth over the last year has been amazing. But most importantly, she was one of our scholarship winners. And during the course of the program, she developed multiple sclerosis. Now, this was the second month into the program, and it was a very hard time. It's hard to kind of cope with the change in lifestyle that you need to accommodate, and now the dependency a lot more on others. But she got 3 months behind on all of her schoolwork. Now, the mentors, myself and a few others, stayed really close to her, and we, really supported her, was there with her. I spent many nights with her in the hospital checking on her. She didn't stay with me for a few weeks before needing some time of somewhere to stay. But I was proud to say, after being 3 months behind in schoolwork, thanks to support, some things that we taught her, and just being a voice of reasoning for her, and most importantly, a sounding board and a confidant, she completed 3 months worth of schoolwork in 1 month and averaged a B. Now, that she should have probably dropped out of school because she was so far behind. She was having to do physical therapy, spending time in the hospital. She was bedridden for about a good 2 months in the hospital. So, I mean, when you think about all of that together, that's a lot to get done. And for any other student, I don't know how they could have really taken it without the support that they had. And she told me at the end of the semester, and she kind of felt bad. She was like, I averaged a B. I said, do you realize what you just overcame? You overcame something that should have ended your college career and probably derailed you maybe a couple of years, but you persevered through that. And she was like, I couldn't have done it without the support of you and the program. That was a tearjerker.
Wow, that is an amazing story. Thank you for sharing. So how do you personally blend or balance your personal life, family life with your business?
It's definitely a work in progress, as I always say. I'm very devoted to making sure that I want the students to get the best they can. But I also have my friends remind me, hey, Brian, it's okay to relax sometimes, because I'm just really passionate. I've always believed that you do passionate, and I'm very passionate in what I believe, and I go after things I'm passionate about. But I'll try to find ways to share it. So I've shared the business with my family and friends to involve them, and so that we can all take part of it. But most importantly, they allow me to kind of be me and get my downtime and such like that. So I try to find time on the weekends to relax. I try to find activities that I can do for fun. And I try to always be kind of focused too much, always on the business. But it's one of those things that I always say is a constant work in progress, because I think when it comes to time management, you have to plan fun. So you have to plan. I have to sometimes put on my calendar, you're going to do nothing all day today. So that I remind myself it's okay to, sometimes relax. You don't have to always find progress and success every day. And that's just part of you being human. You need downtime. So it's maybe taking the evening to relax, or taking some days, say, you know what, today I'm just going to relax and going to try to not do anything. Or it may be putting my phone on do not disturb for a while so that I can, get my time away. So.
And I have a little mantra that says the art of doing nothing is doing something.
I like that. I might steal it.
So tell us, what milestone, Brian, do you want to accomplish for your business over the next couple of years?
I definitely want to 5 times X the program and support and awards at least over the next 3 years. And I'm really working on building this program to expand out of Austin over the next 5 years so I can move into Houston and Dallas. And over a longer period of time, I want to build a national program so that this program and the knowledge and the information can be held and conducted across many different cities, many different states, and touch many more lives. So it's really the biggest thing I can think of now is just scaling this program to being the best that it can be.
So talk to the person in our audience and they want to start a business or a foundation, but they're fearful. What advice would you offer them?
So one of the things that I think about that really kind of start with the foundation is we wait till we get to a certain point in opportunity sometimes to do things. And I had this vision for the foundation when I was 18, 19 years old, because I specifically wanted to thank and honor my parents. The 2 scholarships are in my mom and dad's name. And it's my way of giving them their flowers while they're still alive and saying, you know what, you made so many sacrifices in my life. You instilled so many values. You helped me to become the man that I am today and the man that I'm still growing into. And for that, I want to say thank you and show you thank you at the highest degree. And that's why I started the foundation. It started out from a conversation with my friend. I just kept telling her that I wanted to do this. And she said, why wait? And I kept thinking to myself, well, do I need to become more successful? Do I need to wait till I'm 40 till I have this long track record of things? So you basically can write a 5-page resume about my life. She's like, but why? Why wait? You have the ability to do now. I'm like, wow. 3 weeks later, I had a foundation. Went through all the paperwork and went through 501(c)(3) and next thing you know, I was registered in the state of Texas. And I said, all right, I'm going to embark on what I said I was going to do. And I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to wait for permission. I'm not going to wait for acceptance. I'm not going to wait for, a certain platform. I'm going to build it. I'm going to build this plane while flying right now.
So what do you do personally, Brian, when you hit that bump in the road?
Man, so there are always kind of things that kind of come across and it causes a bump in the road. But one of the things that I always mention to the students that I do is we critically think about why did we get here? And what did it take to get here? What was the reason for hindrance? What caused everything to kind of slow down? And then secondly, I go out and seek advice from other people. I have a strong network. I have a lot of supporters. I have a lot of friends, a lot of loved ones. I feel blessed every day that I think of the friends and the family, everybody I have. I have a lot of guidance too. And so for those reasons, I'm able to go out to ask people, hey, I'm coming across this roadblock. What is your advice on how you would approach the situation? Here are things that I'm considering. And I take all of that collective feedback, I gather all that data, and then from there, I start analyzing. What were my steps that got me to this place? After analyzing it, I say, okay, what is the intended outcome or goal that I want to reach? And then I take the information that has been given to me and say, all right, what caused me to get here, and what do I need to tweak? And then from there, I keep on trying. And I consider that the art of critical thinking, really being able to analyze the data, not trying to rush too quickly to making decisions, but being able to make the right decisions, not allowing emotions to influence the things that we do, but really being able to think critically about, what's possible. And then from there, taking action on those decisions. Always try to look at the glass as half empty rather than half full, because I think if you have a positive attitude and positive outlook, positive things happen. But if you have a negative attitude and negative outlook, negative things happen. So you want to be focused on specifically keeping a positive mind, thinking that you can accomplish and do anything that you can do.
So give us 3 truths that you've learned in life or business so far.
The most important thing is relationships. Business is built on relationships. You're personally built on relationships. And that you can't forget that everything is about who you're serving. So when you have a business, you serve a need. When you have a relationship, you're serving somebody else. But the greatest satisfaction comes out of giving and helping others with no expectation of yourself. So I don't expect people to do things for me. I just do it for them because out of the love and generosity of my heart. And I enjoy that. But it keeps me alive. It keeps me burning on my soul on the inside. But most importantly, it helps me grow as a person. I get blessed in 10 times fold because of the seeds that I sow into other people. Not because I expect anything in return, but because somehow the benefits come back to me. And I'm thankful for that. Other truths that I've learned through business is that by making mistakes, it's never like the final story of your book. It's not the final chapter. You're able to grow and learn from these things. And through mistakes, you find success. There's never such thing as the overnight hype. There's a lot of mistakes in between. But most importantly, by getting through mistakes, you find success eventually. So you got to go through those things. You got to grow through them too. So as I say, I'm going and growing through whatever happens in my life. And thirdly, you get to share yourself with people and share your energy and your passion, and people become inspired. We can be an inspiration to so many people that we have no idea. I didn't realize how much the students could feel the support of what I was giving, because I was so focused on making sure they would master the material, but they could feel the passion and energy. When I talk about the foundation, people would talk to me and say, wow, I can really see you light up. I can see your smiling face. I can feel your energy. Like I feel it in my soul. And I get so excited because it's just like, yeah, this is me sharing my life. I've been able to find, the one thing I love doing, that I love to share, that, really sets my soul on fire. And it's something that I can never shake. I love it. It's amazing. And that's one of the things that you can really tell in business. You can tell when people are doing things authentically. You can tell when people are doing things from their heart. So sharing your heart really helps to really advance whatever you're doing.
So if you conducted this interview, Brian, what is the one question that you wish I would have asked? And I would like you to answer the question.
That's a good one. Question that I would have you ask. That's a good one. I'm having to think about it. I'm sorry. But the question I would have you ask is, do you ever get discouraged for being too young to start something? And the way I would have answered that question is that, sometimes we look at, I mentioned before about, not waiting to make a change. But one of the things I think of is that even as a youth don't realize sometimes the impact that they can make and the inspiration that they can make for other people. And so I really challenge youth to be leaders, because I feel like we're going to eventually take over the reins of things that our elders and wiser counsel has put in place for us or have done. And so there's never a time that you should not do things. You should not wait to do things. You should do things now. You should operate things in the moment, especially when you have the energy and those things to do it. And I think now is one of the best times to start a business for a young person, because you don't have as many responsibilities and don't really have as many commitments. And so that's one of the things that I keep in mind is that, this is the best opportunity for me to build the platform and stage. I'm making an investment during early years of my life so they can pay off and I can sow the seeds later on in my life. So I can have a little bit more time with my family and friends and hopefully my wife and children and things that I seek to have later on in life at a certain time whenever God says it's right. So definitely take advantage of your now. Don't ever put off into the things that you could do later, and don't ever feel like age is a defining factor that can either stop or hinder your success, because it's not. It's all about you putting in the plan, the vision, the mission, the team, but most importantly, the work to get things done.
So are you operating the foundation full time?
Yes. So I operate it full time, and right now it's specifically me, but I also have individuals that have a lot of volunteers that help, between volunteer mentors and then other positions that we fill within the foundation to help with running the operations and things. But it started off with just starting as a solo entrepreneur type of thing, but really building it into building a strong team that we can continue to grow, scale, and touch more people. We also work with a lot of partner organizations like Austin Area Urban League, the City of Austin's Equity Office, Houston-Tillotson University, University of Texas Division of Diversity Community Engagement, IBM, and State Farm, and a few others. And so it's definitely been, I guess, maybe one person from an administrative perspective, but it's been definitely a lot of people have played a part. So it hasn't been just all me.
So what was your parents' reaction? Did they expect you to launch your own business from school, or did they expect you to go and work for someone, go to corporate America? Tell us about that journey.
Well, I operate the foundation full time, and I still work a full time job on top of that. So I kind of do dual duty, as I would say. And they definitely, because a lot of our programs are on weekends, so everything that we do on weekends, so it allows me the flexibility to do those things. But they definitely saw the entrepreneurial spirit in me and knew that that would be something that would grow inside of me and such. And something that they see manifest. But they definitely saw that I was going to take my own path and journey to get there. So it just was all about, what was specific to Brian's journey. And they were very supportive. But they also have told me many times how much they're very proud of me. And I hope to always continue to make my parents proud from the things that I do, and hopefully be able to touch many lives and many people, because that's my ultimate aspirations in life, is to really kind of be a blessing to other people.
Yeah, that's humbling. And I think that is an honor that you would name the scholarships after your parents. So that's really wonderful. So Brian, share with our audience a parting piece of advice you want to offer.
Yes. You can be the change that you wish to see in the world. And your light, the essence of who you are, your, as I always say, your uniqueness is what the world is missing. And so I challenge everybody to share that with the world. Share who you are. Share the essence of who you are. Share with other people, and continue to share yourself with other people so that people can be blessed by your presence and be who you are. Always, the change you seek in the world starts with you. And so where I saw that I wanted to change, I tried to make that start. But what more importantly, people saw my heart and values and mission and the things I was going to, and they got inspired to do it as well. So I've been able to enact the vision and the mission that I really had by being able to be the first piece or the linchpin, and I say, in change. And I can challenge everybody that they can do that as well in their own way. There's no reason to be afraid. You don't have to do anything perfect, but who you are as a person, even the things that make you imperfect, or the reason why you are perfect. So definitely love yourself, and love yourself so much that you show your love to everybody else and share with the love they have in your heart.
And Brian, before I go into the fun facts lightning round, you had mentioned at the beginning, partway into the podcast, about the travel. And so I want our audience to know that you have your own podcast. So why don't you share with them, if you don't mind, about your podcast and what it's about and how they could connect in reference to your podcast?
Sure. So I have a podcast called The Drifter Podcast, where I'm one of the co-hosts. My other co-hosts are Brandon Boone and Kira Sandoval. We're part of a travel community that we started called Drifter Travels, where we really try to help educate people who are beginners, novices, and experts in travel, but give them opportunities to connect with travelers internationally. We have a growing online community through our Slack And then also helping them to share things like how they can utilize credit cards and points to be able to travel more efficiently. Or they may learn things like different places they want to go, or different experiences on airlines, or questions about, do you use Airbnb or do you use hotels? So our podcast is focused on basically 4 segments. We have a question of the day where we focus on questions that travelers have that we get from our travel community. We talk about cards and points, so we can teach you about airline miles and how we're able to take flights. For instance, I went to Italy for $90 round trip. I went to Santiago for $170 round trip from Texas, and just other kind of things like that really kind of help make travel affordable, but using cards and points to get there. We take you every week to a different country, a different place to help give you some insights on places that you should go see. So just kind of broadening your horizon to places that you should pin on a map and say, one day I plan to go there. And then last but not least, we have our roundtable open discussion where we will debate and discuss our viewpoints and thoughts and reasoning behind certain discussions. Like, for instance, it's the difference between what is economy versus basic economy. What are the importances? What are the benefits? What are the pros and cons, et cetera? Or it might be when we travel out the country, where do we exchange our money? So giving people different ideas and advice on how they should approach it and why one way might be better than the other. So it's broken into those 4 different segments. And there's many places you can go to actually listen to our podcast. You can go to our website, Drifter, DRIFTR, travels, with a S.com. Again, that's Drifter, DRIFTR, travels, with a S.com. But you can also visit Apple Podcasts and listen there, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, and even can watch video versions of our podcasts on YouTube. So got many different ways you can listen in. New episodes are released weekly, usually be somewhere between Tuesday to Thursday. So you can tune in to our episodes. We currently have about 11 episodes currently, and we'll have another one dropping towards the middle of this week.
Thank you for that. So, Brian, we're going to go into the part of our podcast that's called the Fun Facts Lightning Round. I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and if you could give me very quick answers. Are you ready for the Fun Facts Lightning Round?
Let's do it.
All right. The last movie you saw?
Ooh, it was Collateral Beauty, the one with Will Smith. It was real amazing.
You relaxed doing what?
Playing basketball, laying on my couch. I have a really nice couch from Rooms to Go that is so comfortable that I just like being there. I can just sit there all day.
Your favorite singer or rapper?
Ooh, it's a mix between either J. Cole or Jay-Z. I love both of them. And it's leaning more to J. Cole because I just came back for his concert on Saturday.
And your favorite dance song?
It had to be Swag Surf, but the version with Lil Wayne.
And what food you eat every week, no matter what?
My Popeye's chicken. People have told me that I need to get a franchise. I seriously am thinking about doing that.
And your favorite month?
A little biased, but it's August. Partially because it's my birthday month.
Well, we want to say happy birthday to
Thank you. I just celebrated my birthday yesterday.
Wow. Oh, wow. Happy belated birthday. That was really on time. Well, Brian, we want to thank you so much for being a part of Black Entrepreneur Experience. So before we close, why don't you share with our audience what is the best way for them to connect with you and to support your foundation?
Sure. The best way to support our foundation, we have a couple of different ways that can always help. One, we want your partnership in this mission and vision to help change our future leaders. So you can help us by donating towards our program by going to blffoundation.org/donate. If you go to blffoundation.org, you'll see also the link to donate. Secondly, if you can share this with your corporations, we want to be able to share the work that we're doing. So helping to find corporate social responsibility programs, our different foundations that might be interested in a program of ours, and our mission and vision is especially promoting education, youth development, personal development, minority ethnic groups, and more. This definitely would be helpful. So please share the information about our foundation to other kind of nonprofits and foundations that are looking to invest in nonprofits that are really trying to seek the change for youth. Thirdly, if you're in the Austin area, we could use you as a mentor. So definitely visit our website, blffoundation.org/mentorship to learn more about our mentorship program. And then lastly, share it with students in the Austin area. If you can share this information and help us to find more students that we can touch, we're going to do our best to help change their lives and make sure that they become the most successful and awesome students and prepared for anything that life has to throw at them.
Thank you, Brian. That's a wrap.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been lots of fun.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening and subscribing to Black Entrepreneur Experience. We would love for you to leave a review and rating on iTunes and share with your friends. For show notes and more episodes, go to www.beepodcast.com. Join us next Wednesday, and remember, green is the new black. So keep your bank accounts and your business in the black.